This is Sab on VVIP, and we have today with us the champ, Mr. K.
Uh-oh.
Welcome to Dubai, K.
Hey, what's good? What's good? Thank you for welcoming me. I appreciate it.
So how you feel every time like you take the plane and the destination is Dubai?
Well, you know what? This is my first time really getting a chance to say what's up to you guys and everybody out there at VVIP. So I'm really excited. I'm really, really thankful. And more importantly, we have some really awesome things to talk about, particularly with promoting the Dubai Muscle Show and everything that we've got going on this weekend. It's going to be a really, really exciting week.
Wow. So can you please like introduce yourself?
Well, okay. My name is Kai Greene. I am a personality, an influencer, a entrepreneur, and I guess what you can best call a work in progress. But I'm really excited about being in a place where we have the opportunity to encourage, to inspire, and to positively influence those progressively developing young minds that are somehow attracted to some of the things that we're doing with promoting the lifestyle of fitness and health and all those wonderful things that become a reality of being able to think and work in a positive direction.
I'm sure guys like you watching the interview, but the energy here is so high, you know? So I want to ask you how you find yourself actually in the bodybuilding space, you know?
Wow. So bodybuilding, really, really interestingly enough, is one of those things that really gave me a really great start. Most importantly, it was one of the things that really helped me understand how to think about setting myself up to use my powers rightly to become a successful and enterprising man. So, you know, I think at the root of that sport, and I didn't introduce myself as that, but I will go ahead and say this. Yeah, I am some would have identified me as a successful, accomplished professional bodybuilding athlete. But that said, I think it was the blueprint. It was the starting point for a place that allowed me to recognize how important my thoughts are and how my thoughts can become a really interesting tool that could be used to develop just a better quality life.
Wow. So what was most exciting for you actually? The competition itself or actually developing your body and progressing in that field?
Say that question.
I said everyone have different like motive, you know. For you, when it's starting actually the competition, is it more excited for you competing or actually building your own body and progressing with your inner self?
Well, you know what? That's the thing. I think at the root of this experience, competitive or otherwise, is the idea of self-development through self-mastery. And I think that in the beginning of my personal journey, as far as the competitive experience is concerned, the idea of learning how to compete and trying to better my game to be a successful competitor, I think was the foundation that allowed me to discover just, you know, the larger lesson that comes from, you know, the self-mastery component. As a result, you're able to I'm in a place where I'm able to take those lessons learned and apply them to develop any other parts of my life and experience the better parts of developing my man. Yeah.
So how you feel of the transformation of the social media between actually collecting the cover magazine back in time and now connecting instantly to million followers around the world?
You know, it's a wonderful opportunity when you can develop a purpose, a reason to get up in the morning and go to bed at night. And it's even better when you can, through your journey, find something that allows other people to kind of connect with you and allow you in turn to connect with others. And allow you to kind of, through that connection, share a common ground that can help you actually not only make sense of your own life, but also, you know, be encouraging to other people as they are in their process as well.
Yes. You come all the way from Brooklyn, you know, that kind of like um, the aggressive thing, how you feel about it, like to be a role model of Brooklyn, worldwide. Yes.
Well, I don't know about being a role model of Brooklyn, but I think what's really important, at least in my mind, is focusing on where you are and most importantly, where you want to go. I grew up as a person that didn't know who my father was and had a lot of issues that would kind of center around, spending a lot of time in places that I really didn't want to be physically when I was a younger man. And I have since developed a way of seeing a strategy that has kind of become something that I talk about in Chronicles of King Kai, which is a really awesome project that is near and dear to my heart. I have a graphic novel that will become an animated film series and things. But basically what we're talking about is recognizing where you want to go, and using that to become the thing that, is able to help you make better decisions on how to use the now to create the tomorrow that is not only a possibility, but something that you want most.
This is really very important point you mentioned. So how you feel like it's so important between actually the mental health and the physical health when it comes to this industry?
Well, you know what? I would say not just this industry, but I think personally as a developing young man working to see the larger possibility of success realized in the expression of my life, I think the idea of mental health, I think mind is everything, and I think it is so important, particularly with how we try to answer that last question, talking about being able to be clearest about what you want to do, where you want to go. Because in that instance, even if it is that you're confronted with some very challenging and difficult circumstances in the present, or maybe should you look around and see a portrait of your life that isn't quite what you want it to be, by focusing on the now, recognizing your ability to think and act rightly in the now, you can create the future that you want. So you can control the future. You can, make some very effective decisions that can go a long way in allowing you to create or write the new narrative that will become the story or portrait of your life. I found that experience or I found that truth, at least for me, through this experience that we're talking about when we talk about exercise and training and bodybuilding. And the most important thing that I want to say on top of that is I found that the road to discovering that is recognizing that mind is everything.
Wow. Okay. When it comes actually to nutrition, which is very important when it comes to bodybuilding, how actually you maintain your routine when it comes to nutrition, and is it really like food actually affecting the mind health as well?
Well, you know what? I think there's definitely it can be proven scientifically how different food choices can have a positive or negative effect on hormones and biochemistry. So does food have an effect on the physical expression of how a person can feel, elevation of mood, energy, and maybe even the ability to speak positively to the overall physical health of an individual. I think though, I guess the most important thing that I want to say on that is, just being clear about what you want to do, understanding that, I think the root to everything is really, recognizing, your thoughts and the power that you have to act consciously in the now. And with that, you're able to shape the future. One of the things we say with like my Riderwear relationship, we've come out with a really awesome sneaker line where one of the things we have in the Kai Greene signature series shoe is we've taken the time to put each and every one of the shoes this mantra that is technically it's almost like a personal mission statement that we have in an effort to share and encourage our message with everyone that gets a chance to be exposed to it. This idea that my thoughts are powerful, my thoughts, become things.
I'm sure like you was actually a big fan of comic books, how you feel about owning your own comic, and tell us more about this project.
Well, I think one of the things to say about that is, yes, I've always had an interest in art and development of ideas. I think as long as I have the artistic mind is something that I can see expressed everywhere in my life, anywhere, in fact, I choose to look. Where I choose to see it, I will find it. It's the artistic mind seeking to express itself. So as a little boy, before I learned my ABCs, I started drawing, and it's continued to seek expression in the forefront of my thinking and actions through painting and drawing, and even a lot of the things that I can say about developing my physique as a bodybuilding, are demonstrations of the artistic mind and its presence on the surface. So I'm just saying this to say that art has always been something that I'm very, very, very aware of, and the fact that it's a tool to express a lot of the things that are going on with my spirit and beneath the surface. And I think the graphic novel that we have now, called Chronicles of King Kai, has really been a life's work that is just, I think now more important than ever, an ability to express a responsibility I think we have at this time. We opened up this interview recognizing the opportunity to be identified today as a thinker, as an influencer, as a personality that has a number of things developed to your credit. But with that, I think there comes the responsibility that you have to speak to those that want to know, hey man, well, how can I do that for me? Or what is the most important thing that you can share with me that allows me to walk away from some of the fruit from your story with fruit that can help me in some way continue on my road to personal development. So the way I think I'm best able to answer that is to take every opportunity to speak to that idea of encouragement, speak to that idea of increase. And with saying that, Chronicles of King Kai, my graphic novel, is one of the latest attempts that I recognize today as a part of the responsibility that I have, because it does just that. It takes my personal experience and some of the colorful metaphor, it turns it into a colorful metaphor. But at the same time, we speak the message of encouragement, personal empowerment, while exploring some of the interesting challenges that an individual like myself, or the character, our sword and sorcery, action, sci-fi, and adventure hero, King Kai, encounters in an effort to do the thing that he wants to do most, and that is to save his world.
Wow. And also I see like you taking some acting and you appear on some TV shows. Is it like kind of like challenging yourself to go to different industry? How you feel about acting,
Well, you know what? I think definitely I would be a liar to say like, no, it's not a challenge to develop other skills that we may not think are required on the surface when trying to develop your physique. But honestly, I think everything that you can experience, in the realm of just personal development, whether it's in acting, whether it's in the development of yourself as a business person, an informed, learned student, in the throes of building yourself academically, I think, the challenge of self-development can be identified in all of these different experiences. I think so. With that, I don't want to say that it's something that I think feels foreign to me. The challenge is real, but I think the challenges that come along with anything that you're maybe not as familiar with can be realized everywhere. But I think at the end of the day, recognizing your responsibility, your role right now to yourself, to the world, being able to make the larger contribution that I think is available to you, and ultimately is the thing that I really want to do. This just becomes, I think, natural things that you're supposed to be doing. So with that, you accept the responsibility. You know, we're going to learn the script. We're going to step into, you know, demonstrating the new skill sets that are required to continue to, you know, allow ourselves to express that artistic mind that has been with us as long as we can remember, and is, as I said earlier, can be expressed in everywhere that I choose to look in my life.
This is really very inspiring, you know, to everyone watching this interview, is actually to go to different destination beyond actually the space that you are, you know, because life is all about like challenging and go to new spaces. So basically, okay, you have a huge fan base here in the region of the Middle East and loyal like for ages, you know. So what is your opinion on the region here, especially that we are promoting fitness and health, you know, and bodybuilding? So I want to know, like, what's your opinion on the regions in general in terms of the bodybuildings?
Well, actually, we still see the region here still stepping into its larger possibility. It's a work in progress, and I think all the potential is there to pretty much write its own check. I think, in fact, there's a large part of myself that I see expressed in that. And this is one of the ways that I feel like I end up having to talk to myself when I find myself having to think very deeply about, well, what is it that I see, or what is it that I want to see most when looking at me? You know, I see limitless possibilities in this region, and this is what I've learned to recognize in my self-talk when I look in the mirror and talk to myself. You know, it is the development of a good way of thinking that will help me in this life realize my larger potential and my ability to seem better capable of doing the things that I want to be a success at. So that said, I think for this region, to answer your question, or to really anyone at home that is sitting there thinking the same, you know, thoughts about, man, you know, what is my potential? You know, what is my ability? Do I need someone else to validate that for me? And if that is something that I am sitting here in need of, you know, who is it that can best do that for me? Please answer that for me with this interview today. I would want to encourage you to, you know, realize that the largest and most powerful validator that you could ever get on your team is you, you know, and that ability to recognize the expression of limitless possibility and incredible potential is you. So learning how to think, learning how to act in a way that will allow you to tap into it and do it. It's really, really up to you, and that's going to serve you the best. And good luck on that, because ultimately I think that is what we're all committed to.
I think as well, this is a very important question to everyone starting like career on the bodybuilding, you know. What is the piece of advice you give it to everyone who want to actually have a career in bodybuilding and go to compete globally, you know? Because you have your own point of view on the space beyond actually title and competition, you know. There is something that you want to tell to people that you want to actually have a career or success in this space.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, that's an interesting thing, because I technically started my journey in this industry in ways unbeknownst to me at the time. And I thought that I wanted to win trophies. You know, I thought I wanted to be a success. And I thought the way to become the largest success that I dreamed to be was to win a lot of trophies. And I became a trophy hunter. In fact, I became a specialist at going after trophies. And, you know, in that, I went and pursued trophy hunting relentlessly. And I've done that for the better part of, 20 or 30 years. Now on this side of the experience, and I've kind of, as a result of doing that, I've been fortunate enough to grow into another place where I am with more accomplishments to my credit and a lot of trophies won, where I'm able to look back on that and see with a little bit more clarity and wisdom. Now being, a man that is not as youthful as I was as a prepubescent teenager. But with saying that, I will say this, and hopefully anybody out there that really understands what I'm saying will get it. And if you can, you may save yourself 30 years of work and actually allow yourself to really step into the limitless possibility. So I'm going to say this. I realize now that in the very beginning, the biggest thing that I was really saying when I said, I want to win trophies, was saying that I want to be a success in this life. I want to find something that I believe that I could do and that I could give myself wholeheartedly to, and that through doing that, I can see realized every larger ambition that I could ever see realized in my life. I want to be able to use everything good, bad, or indifferent that's happened to me, that's happened as a result of me, that is happening with me through the expression of the life that I'm living, that can, serve as a point of reference, a testament to the fact that I was even here when I decide to, or when it is time to move on from this world as we know it. The will to win, the will to be a successful athlete, the will to be a trophy winner, I now understand is an expression of the want to be a success, the want to find the fullest expression and fulfillment of possible potentials that lurk beneath my surface. So I want to encourage that person that if you have identified that to be you, then yes, you will need to see that, and you will need to look for that, not just in winning the trophies, but to understand that it all rests in that idea of self-mastery, that self-development thing. I want to be a success is what that person is saying. It will be up to you to identify what the fullest example of that expression will look like. But I'm more, I believe it's more likely to say that it's not just winning the trophies, it's actually becoming the success, and you can do that, as sure as I'm standing here. We're on TV right now. I got an 8-inch scar on the right side of my face. There's no way to even get away from it. The cameras, the lights on it. But my point is that the scar won't hold you back. It doesn't hold you back from, the things that you're destined to do when you're clear about, working towards making it happen. So this larger success that you're looking for, it's there. And if you choose to do it here in this industry, you can. But just be clear about at least understanding this, that it's not just the trophies, it's not just the bright lights and stuff. What it is the self-development thing. And if you're looking for that, then understand that the way to get there is right with mastering your thoughts.
Yes. I think also there is a very important message. You can hear it from Kai when it comes actually to physical health, because you see right now, there is a lot of advance and technology in the space in terms of injections. People want to make a shortcut, no pain to have a result, but they don't really understand that can actually affect on the body on long term. And this actually can create a lot of misunderstanding on the space, So what is your opinion on this kind of misunderstanding of bodybuilding, and actually that can create a harm to the body in long term?
What do you mean when you say harm?
Harms means like there is some people like want to take injection to have that physical appearance, but they don't care on term of like it's gonna be harm long term. You know, instead of go to the whole process and have a proper result. So it's not about just the appearance.
Well, you know, I realize that when you have like the opportunity to address such a large audience, there's a certain amount of responsibility that has to be. I think, you know, negative realities are something that we could focus on, but I didn't come here to do that. I will talk about the larger point that, you know, you can decide where you're going to go in this life, you know, and with every choice that you make, there will be consequences. You know, the consequence doesn't have to be a bad thing. You know what I mean? You can have some really, really wonderful, positive consequences that are the result of acting and working in the way that can, you know, elicit those kinds of results. So, you know, that said, you know, I have thought about this for very, very, very long, and I've thought about it in ways that allowed my actions to, you know, manifest itself in, you know, real quality, tangible results that I could see in my life. You know, I competed in the world championships. I've, you know, won the Mr. Universe, the Mr. World. I have, you know, started, you know, while working out in an institutional facility, you know, for emotionally disturbed youth and juvenile delinquents, at a time when the expectation would have been that I would have become another one of what are thousands of negative statistics, of people that never really see their larger dream or possibility realized. But I'm not that today. And I recognize that the reason why that is because I, on some level, have understood this, and that is that my thoughts are powerful. My thoughts will become the things that shape my reality. It's that kind of thinking that was able to take me from, you know, working out as one of the many thousands of young men that would work out in an institutional facility with no larger prospects of anything, and, you know, step into a place and wonderful realm of opportunity that allows me to sit here with you today on this camera and addressing you wonderful people at home. So anyway, my point with saying that is this: you know, the drugs don't make the champion. The man, you know, makes himself. The champion makes himself. And every young man or woman or anyone out there that's listening to this right now, I would sooner want to promote the encouragement of recognizing your champion. You know, in fact, yeah, recognizing your champion really is a way of recognizing that the opportunity to be a champion is not the product of, you know, genetics, you know, whether you have good genetics or bad genetics, or the right pedigree or the wrong pedigree, or, you know, whether you are on the right side of the tracks or the wrong side of the tracks, whether there's a silver spoon in your mouth or not, you know, resources and access to resources or no access to the resources. I think the champion mindset is really all about, you know, recognizing what your goals are and being able to start to marshal and master all of your forces and resources that are available to you in a way that will help you move yourself in the direction that you want to go most. So that's like, you know, to say that is to say, you know, starting to step and move through concentrated thinking that allows a person to go from where they are to where they want to be. And that is not achievable by drugs. You know, that is not determined by pedigree. That is, you know, a result of deliberate, self-imposed actions. And to do that, the consequences can actually become the success that you dream to be.
You have very like a strong spirit and energy, you know, and I want to ask you the last question about how important mentorship and actually open yourself and asking other people in terms of anything that actually can help your self-development, you know, how you go through this.
You know, that's a really, really good question. How important is mentorship? You know, I think the first thing I want to say, you know, just like if someone were to say, hey man, I got a a boatload of steroids outside right now, and we'll give you a boatload of steroids. Do you think that'll make you a champion? No. I think you can. So I'm saying this to say that I believe you can have access to all of the right things, supposedly, when we talk about tools, resources, mentors and support. But that doesn't make you any more capable of becoming the success that you can be if that one critical element is missing, and that is, your mind, focused on the attempt and intent to do that, to make the success that you want to become. So yeah, I think I say this to say that a person could be their own most powerful ally or their own worst enemy. And the power there is you. I believe that this road to this the success that we're talking about is one of self-mastery, self-development, and you can't do it without being conscious and aware of yourself. And so with saying that, mentorship is important, but I wouldn't want to say that to the viewers at home, as the most important thing, because technically, they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And, coming from where I come from, being a young man that, I could have said, hey, well, I don't have a father in my house, and because I have a dad, that means that, man, I don't know how to, love myself or, make responsible decisions on how to grow into becoming a right thinking, positive, progressive man, because I didn't see it in my house and I didn't have it. So that means that I have an excuse. No, I don't think that would be right. So I think it starts with you. And it starts with you being able to be clear, really clear about the power that is yours. And only then can you make some right decisions with how to use that power that can actually, put you on track to become the success that you want to be.
So since we are already a few weeks from 2020, what is your piece of advice for people to kill it in 2020 and achieve them goal,
My advice for everybody at home, and if you're like me, one of the things we say a lot of times when we're training at the gym, my friends and I are there, we have a joke, but it's really, really, really serious. We say, touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, today is a new day. Neighbor, today is the day where I will see my vision. I will see my larger dreams realized. Neighbor, today I'm going to do all the things that I'm supposed to do, that I believe are going to put me in the place of right thinking, positive, progressive movements forward. And neighbor, today belongs to me.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you with us, and we're looking forward to watch your comic very soon.
Hey, thank you for saying that.